The Denver Broncos defensive line, which already had massive improvements by stealing John Franklin-Meyers from the New York Jets, signing Malcom Roach in free agency, and just having a platoon of dudes on the outside, is taking a massive leap forward as we are about to sign the highest ranked defensive player in the USFL and one of the highest ranked players in the entire USFL. And we're going to break that down and so much more in this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I cover all things Denver Broncos. If you like the Denver Broncos as well, helps me out a ton if you would hit that like and subscribe button. So before you tune out here and be like, oh, he's just in the USFL, there are tons of examples of dudes who've played in other leagues who come to the NFL and have crazy, crazy productivity. I think the one that jumps to everyone's mind is obviously Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries and played in the XFL, or I think he was in a different minor league, like Canadian one. We know Steve Young also played in the USFL, but so did Reggie White, so did Herschel Walker, and the list goes on and on. But with dudes, Pierre Garçon also was in a Division III college. Like, there's so many examples of guys who hit later in life or were looked past for whatever reason, and all you got to do is turn on Last Chance U on Netflix, and you'll see tons of crazy potential who just had hard shots at life and didn't make the league, but have all the crazy potential for it. And that is what makes me so crazy excited that the Denver Broncos have a shot and are working out today a USFL champion who James Larson, PFN on Twitter, breaks down a ton of minor league players, and he comes on today and is like, man, how is this dude, Dondrea Tillman, not in the NFL? He is the highest ranked guy in PFF in the UFL, and he's a three-time world champion. You watch the highlights of this guy, and you're like, my goodness, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But the news of the day is that he flew into Denver fresh off winning a championship game on Sunday, and he is doing an abbreviated workout, which to me signals that the Broncos are like, hey, if he looks as good as he looked on the film, we're just going to sign this dude right off. So it'll be interesting to see who's on the bubble right away, as we have to keep our numbers under the allotted numbers that we can have, so one of those guys we just signed might get cut in this process, but I'm crazy hyped about this. The fact that he's choosing the Denver Broncos to go to is just a great sign about his belief that he can step on and compete for a backup role, maybe with, behind Allen, behind John Franklin-Meyers. That's going to be crazy interesting to watch. But you just watch this guy's highlights and you see a high motor guy who gets to the quarterback but also stops the run. And we'll just let this play here as I'm kind of talking about what this could mean. We know that in the AFC West, we need to find a way to pressure the passer because we got to play Mahomes a couple times a year, but then also stop the run. Vance Joseph, when he was talking about our defensive line and the problems we had last year, he said the biggest problem wasn't blown gap assignments or guys running through wide open holes. It was missed tackles at the point of attack, which is why we got Malcom Roach, which is why we made for the trade for John Franklin-Meyers in the first place. And Vance Joseph does not seem concerned whatsoever. And I think having Dondrea Tillman, there's going to be no concern left, because you're talking, we got DJ Jones, who the San Francisco 49ers did not want to let go. We have Zach Allen from the Cardinals, who, if you watched Hard Knocks the year it was with the Cardinals, you're high on him. And then obviously getting Roach and Franklin-Meyers, and now to have Dondrea Tillman, you're talking our inner three there. You just got crazy depth. So his motor, unreal, just watching him, lining up on the outside, but also lining up right in the middle. And we heard yesterday from Austin Eckler that that's going to be a really run-heavy team twice a year in the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, just look at, and obviously I know he's playing against USFL offensive linemen, but I really think this is going to translate, and he's got the frame for it, and he's got the drive for it, and I think the future is very bright for him to come here. So like we heard from Mike Kliss, he's here. It's going to be a short workout and just basically a physical. So they're not going to make him do anything other than just make sure that he doesn't have any nagging injuries. And then we're going to see him reporting in just a couple of weeks here for us. So I'm very excited about that. Other great news of the day is that our main man, the first video on this channel that did crazy well, was how excited everybody was about the Denver Broncos signing Lucas Krull. and Lucas Krull was invited by Travis Kelce to go out to tight end university. And so I think that is a very good sign that they expect big things from him, that, you don't give that honor of going out and playing with Kittle and Pitts and all of those guys and getting together for that tight end university if they're not high on you actually stepping in and getting some catches this year, not just being our third option at tight end with Troutman and Dulcich, but they're looking at him saying like, hey, this guy could be a starting tight end. So maybe all of this worry about is Dulcich going to be healthy for game one? Maybe that is not a concern, because Krull will be our tight end one, irregardless of if Dulcich stays healthy. And if he does, it's icing on the cake. And if not, we got a guy who Travis Kelce and Kittle and those guys actually believe in enough to invite to tight end university. So that's very, very exciting. So here's the article written all about Dondrea Tillman and what he could do for us. And the part that I thought was most interesting was just hearing Vance Joseph when he was asked about this defensive line and why he's high on it and not worried whatsoever about us stopping the run going into this year. And essentially when I read his quote, the first thing I thought was Frank Clark thrown under the bus and Randy Gregory thrown under the bus. That it was after those guys were both let go from our team that really our defense took that leap from being letting the Dolphins drop 70 on us to all of a sudden we go on a 5-game win streak, and our rush defense wasn't an issue after that. And you throw out those stats from when Gregory and Clark were on our team, and it was totally different. And I think tackling is definitely an effort thing. Obviously, the guy who wants it more is going to get it. And what I saw from Randy Gregory and Frank Clark was just not that desire to actually do the hard work and stick your face in there and take a guy to the ground. And so him saying, we got a bunch of prove-it guys in here right now. Tackling was our issue with our run defense, so improving our tackling is going to help us. We gave up big runs, not because of our gap fits. It was missed tackles, and we're improving our tackling, and that should help that. So very, very exciting there. And again, you see a ton of people all over Twitter just talking about this. Greg Olsen, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, tight end university, and what an honor that is for Lucas Krull to be out there. So we will definitely keep everybody up to date on that. And then lastly, we just got to watch some hype videos from Dondrea Tillman and just see what we're getting here. Massive, huge frame on him, and it looks like he is here for it, and we are here for all of it right here at Sports Talk Denver. So let me know, where do you think he fits in on the rotation? That article said that he'd be competing for a backup role behind Zach Allen. Do you think he makes the final 53? Do you think we try to sneak him through to the practice squad, or do you envision him actually being on this line, which all of a sudden goes from maybe being a place of concern to a position where we have a crazy amount of depth? And how many of those guys can we actually carry forward on our interior defensive line? And sky is truly, truly the limit there. So very, very exciting. Thank you all for tuning in. And there is a lot to Bo-Lieving. Oh man, that one was so